Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John Ahr and I'm your instructor. I have a great project for you. This video will be the first of two parts. So before I introduce the project, why don't you hit the subscribe button and click on the notifications bell. That way you'll be informed of every new OJA release. Okay, let me show you the project. It's a double-sided, roll-printed, hollow form bead. What's cool about this project is it's what I would call a building block. Now, you could just fabricate one and turn it into a pendant, or a charm, or even a ring. Or you could incorporate mold making and lost wax casting techniques to produce multiples that could be turned into bracelets and necklaces. Or you could use the same mass production techniques to help you to produce a capsule collection that includes all of the pieces that I just mentioned. It just might be what you need to help you to start selling more merchandise online. The example that I made was inspired by ancient Greek coins that featured images of a honeybee and a starburst. I made a few sketches based on images that I saw on Instagram. Now, who doesn't love a bee? And stars are always a popular motif, but you could take your inspiration from literally anything. You'll also notice that my piece is round. That's because I wanted to present you, my students, with an example that almost all of you would look at and think, heck, my kid could do that. And you're right. Circles are easy to make. Think disc cutter and ring mandrel. Of course, if you want to make another shape, that's cool. I did. I carefully fabricated the original forms out of sterling silver sheet metal so I could have them professionally molded and cast. Here's a professional tip for you. While it may be less expensive and easier to create your models out of copper, using copper for your original model will result in the rubber in your molds breaking down faster than it should. The circular bead is essentially a 20 gauge 6mm wide band that I turned into a double-sided step bezel. That just means that the bead has the appearance of a bezel setting, and there's a ledge or a seat on the inside that allows the piece to have two matching sides. The trick is to make them the same size, but don't add 3 times the metal thickness to the inner ring. By not adding the extra material to the length of the blank that you cut for the inner ring, you move the circumference of the ring size to the outside of the ring. So they'll fit one inside of the other, like the parts of a telescope. I recommend that you choose a ring size based on the sizes of your cutting pegs that go with your disc cutter. But remember, if you plan on doming your disc, you might want to make your rings a size that's a bit smaller than the cutting peg. If you plan on molding or casting your bead frame, I recommend that you drill holes into your model. Even if they shut down a little during the casting process, the holes will be easy to reopen. Plus, you won't waste time trying to get the holes perfectly positioned. You already did it when you made the original model. Once you have the framework of the bead figured out, it's time to transfer your inspiration for the image from a 2D sketch into a 3D piece of metal using roll printing. I started by tracing my designs and transferring them to crack and peel labels. I applied the stickers to pieces of brass that I had pre-polished. Then I drilled and pierced out my patterns. The polished surfaces on the brass cutouts was preserved by the stickers that were easily removed. Now you're ready to run the piece of well-annealed sterling silver sheet metal through your rolling mill using your brass printing tools. I'll be using the Mini C100E rolling mill from Durston Tools. This little powerhouse is great. It weighs half as much as a full-sized rolling mill and offers tons of versatility with its square wire grooves and side extension for making half-round wire. If you're interested in this rolling mill, you can help support the Online Jewelry Academy by checking it out at the link in the description below. To get a good impression on your silver blanks from the rolling mill, you want to use a thinner, well-annealed piece of sheet metal. I generally use dead soft 20 or 22 gauge silver blanks. To print your silver with a positive or raised impression, you want to set the rollers to a distance equivalent to the combined thicknesses of your printing tool and silver blank. Then remove your material and adjust the rollers to decrease the distance between them so that the items are squeezed together as you crank them through the mill. The resulting print will pop up because the metal has nowhere to go but into the cavities of your printing tool. Isn't that pretty? Now you need to cut out your design, but think like a production manager. The fastest, most accurate way to cut out your circular print isn't with a jeweler's saw, it's with a disc cutter. Now I'm going to use my Durston Tools disc cutter, which is a great tool because it comes with a urethane shock absorbing pad, a set of shims that help to keep the top of the tool parallel as you cut, and all of my cutting pegs, my Allen wrench, and lubrication are conveniently stored along with the disc cutting tool itself in this handy compact caddy. So what you want to do is first put on your safety glasses, then with the printed side up, slide your print into the disc cutter and look through the cutting hole to see that you're going to get the entire image. If you have trouble doing this, you could use a flashlight to help you see. Once you have it lined up, place the shim on the opposite side and using your Allen key, carefully tighten the top of the tool down onto your piece. Then remove the Allen key and take the cutting peg and lubricate just the cutting edge. Now slide that in and using a brass mallet, strike the end of the cutting peg. Now, if it doesn't cut through in one blow, that's okay. Just keep striking it to knock the piece out. All right, so now you can lift up, collect your cutting peg and your printed disc. This would be a good time to consider re-annealing the disc before you dome it using your hardwood dapping block. After you pickle, brass brush, and dry your disc, place it in the hardwood dapping block and dome it. The circumference of the outer edge of the disc will slightly decrease, making it fit into the framework. I'm using a hardwood dapping block because it won't damage my printed surface. In the second half of this lesson, I'll show you how to apply gold to the surface on your printed domes using a Korean technique called kimbu. I'll also show you how to mount your printed discs into your framework. If you just can't wait to see part 2, we have a video on how to do kimbu included in the playlist on the Online Jewelry Academy website. In the meantime, check out the Online Jewelry Academy's other free videos. We have over 300 posted to our website at onlinejewelryacademy.com. Or you can sign up for one of our paid courses on udemy.com. We have a course for beginners entitled Colorful Silver Jewelry, an intermediate course on making hinges, and a stone setting course that details 5 different stone setting operations. There are links to discount codes in the description of this video. If you're interested in seeing the full Durston Tools product line, log on to durston.com/OJA. Purchases made using the link will help to support the production of new OJA videos. Thanks for watching.